Is wholesaling real estate becoming illegal? This is a question that's come in a lot. A lot of people are asking this. The answer is yeah, it really is. Anyone that says it's not, if you go to bigria.com/people, we talked to a few attorneys. I have to say, I disagree with some of them. We had a few RIAs that came about, and there's this attitude that people have that all of a sudden the investor is the good guy. No, a lot of times the investor is not a good guy. What's happening with wholesaling? First of all, you should know what wholesaling is. I'll go over that in a second, but the 3 reasons the laws are changing: advertising BS prices. This is ridiculous, you guys. You've never heard me say that legislation is needed. I'm telling you now, legislation is needed. It's ridiculous what's happening, man. There's an example you guys saw earlier, the clip with the screenshot. We have it. The screenshot of the woman who complained. Oh, we can't. Oh, well, I don't know if let's not put it up then. But we can go look up this clip of the woman who complained to the board. She talked to a wholesaler, right? She agreed to sell her property for like $25,000 or whatever. The guy goes out and so she's friends with him on Facebook, or he friended her on Facebook because of the same BS they all do. And he's like, oh, he beat her up on the price, like $25,000. Oh, it's the only thing I could do. I can't pay a penny more. And then he's like, you can buy it for $35,000. And then somebody else tells her, oh, you can buy it for $30,000. Somebody else tells her, oh, you can buy it for me for $27,000. So right. So this is what happens. These people are taking properties. Just search the address of a property that a wholesaler has, and you're going to find 3 or 4 different prices. That's all illegal. You're not supposed to do that. You're not supposed to be able to do that. The whole point of wholesaling initially was that if you couldn't close, you could assign, somebody else could come in and do the deal and still give the seller what they wanted. What's happening now, you go out and people are just taking whatever, tack on whatever you want, and the same property is being sold for 10 different prices. So if you were going to buy a property that made sense for $35,000, right? And you search it, and all of a sudden you could buy it for $30,000 or $28,000 or $25,000. Your first question is, could I get it better than that? And why am I not talking to the seller? Who am I really talking to? And why am I paying this guy $10,000 more? Now, there are times where it makes sense to buy a property for $10,000 more because of the person you're buying it from, because of their involvement, because they're so brilliant and amazing, like Anna, for example. And you guys, other cases, any of our heroes, right? But this is not one of those cases, right? By the way, this is the #1 YouTube channel for Indiana real estate. We're also building the world's largest organization of special needs business owners. I keep forgetting to say that. Bigria.com. Go there, all kinds of amazing stuff. But what's happening with the laws, they're changing because people are getting these properties. They're just marketing them at whatever price they want. That's going to change. But the real problem is the spamming of people. Go to any wholesaling class, or how to speed wholesale, or micro flip, or it's all the same BS. Go buy a list from a place like PropStream, and if they tell you to go to a different place, it's often because they are white labeling. They're affiliates of PropStream, and once you go to their website, it's going to be PropStream, and they get an affiliate commission once you sign up, which they don't even say, by the way. Often you go there, you buy a list of people with equity or whatever. It's all the same BS. Like, buy people that own the property more than 10 years. They have equity. They're behind on taxes. They're in foreclosure. They've had one owner. They've had right? You buy this list of hundreds or thousands of people, and then you pay that same company to do what's called skip tracing or deep tracing, where they go and they find the phone numbers for those people, or the recent email addresses, contact information, and then you put them into a spam program that's going to text them, that's going to email them, that's going to call them up, hire a VA, from the Philippines to call them each up, or call them all up, or friend them on Facebook and send them a message on Facebook, because that's not creepy, right? Hey, do you want to sell your house? And then you're just spamming people. You know what I mean? This is why it's going to be illegal. The phone contact laws, all this stuff is changing because it's not supposed to work like that. And if you doubt that, so what I've said to the attorneys that the email here, let me pull up this email. Okay, so the real problem is the investors. I love this guy. I don't want to say his name. I do like this guy, but he's saying it's investors being tattletales on other investors is what he's saying. Basically, it's not consumers complaining. What are you talking about, man? I love you. I say this with love, man. I sent a quick email and I said, look, here's all you got to do. Why speculate? Don't take my word. Don't take anyone else. So here's what you do. We called, how many people did we find up getting it from? Because I have the list here, but it's not 10. I said, let's go buy it. Let's go buy what all the Instagram influencers and all the gurus say. Let's go do that. Let's go and buy a list like they say. And let's just call. I said 10 random people. Did you get 20? I'm only seeing, okay, I see 7, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Okay, 15 people here. Let's call these random people up and let's just say, hey, how's it going? I'm getting into real estate. I'm buying and selling houses, but I got some complaints from people that I got in touch with, and I want to make sure that I'm helping people, and that if I contacted you to offer you help, or to see if you needed help with selling your home, I want to make sure that that's not like spammy. That's not weird. I want to make sure I'm actually providing value, because that's what I want to do. And if it's weird or something, I want to stop doing whatever I'm doing, because from what I understand, you're supposed to be really excited to hear from me. And every one of them will tell you to go fuck yourself. They'll tell you that. They're not going to be like, oh, thank you so much for contacting me. So the question we ask asked is, how many people are contacting you? One woman said in the last 48 hours, 90 people have contacted her from text, voicemail, email. 90 people. Imagine getting 90 texts. Crazy. The lowest number on here was 3, which I don't know how that happened. But that's 3 people a day contacting them, saying, hey, do you want to sell your house? They're all saying the same thing because they all buy the same thing because they're all listening. It's like the blind leading the blind. All these LCs out there. This cannot happen. Imagine you have a property that you've had for years and years and years. What would you do if you got 50 texts a day from these I Buy Homes knuckleheads, right? They're just like, oh, would you like, what's the least you could take on your property? I'll try to get in touch with you. It's all the same. I'm buying properties. I have room to pick up 2 more properties in your neighborhood. Come on, man. It's all the same stuff. And even if you do sign with them, all they're going to do is beat you up on price. What's the least you could take if I could close in 7 days? They're not going to close in 7 days. They don't even have the money to do it. Again, the 2 big problems that people have. Number 1, always do what you say you're going to do. Always do a lot more than you say you're going to do, by the way, but at least do what you say you're going to do. Number 2, never present yourself or say something about yourself or present yourself in a light that's inaccurate. What do I do on all these videos, by the way? I'm the only person I know of that does this. I never talk about how much money I make. Never do. Anytime I brag, I'm always bragging, by the way, bragging about you guys, bragging about my heroes, you guys, all the brilliant stuff you're doing. Because ultimately, the only thing that matters is what happens when other people listen to me, right? What result, when someone starts from 0 and does what I say, what result do they have? That's all that really matters. And it's the same for anybody you listen to. So they don't have these, and now people will say to me, oh, awesome, it works. It works. What works? Getting thousands of numbers from the phone book and seeing how many of them want to sell their house? Yes, eventually you're going to find someone who wants to sell a house. Eventually you're going to find someone that wants to buy a new car. You're going to find someone that wants a haircut too. Would that be sensible for a hair salon to do? Hey, do you want your haircut? Imagine if you got 50 texts saying, do you want your haircut? Why? Well, because we noticed that you have hair, and that it might need to be cut. What are we this is spam. This is like mental. How can anyone look at this and say, yeah, it's real estate investors' fault for tattling on? No, this is insane. This has to be outlawed. It's not the way it's supposed to be. Any of the good people in real estate should be pissed off about this, by the way, because you're not helping people. And again, don't listen to me. Again, everything I say is always my opinion from my lens, my perspective. The hardest thing to do is to see things from outside your perspective. So all you've got to do, this is the ultimate test. Find me a list of people that you can buy from all these BS places where when you call them up and ask them, is this a great value? Am I really helping you out? If then they think, yeah, I'm so glad to hear from you. Come on, man. They're hearing from 100 people a day. And they're all from LCs because these aren't really investors. These are people who bought a course and it's easy to swipe your credit card and pay for this stuff, pay for the skip tracing, pay for a VA to call the people and ask them what's the least they could take. And then eventually, well, what do you know? I got a contract here. Let me go find an investor. Come on. This is crazy. It's not, the main problem here is that they're not taking care of people. That's the problem they have. So are the wholesale, the laws changing? Absolutely. One of the reasons they're going to have licenses is so that when you contact people, the phone contact laws, and you're not supposed to, they have a way of getting you in trouble. Also, you're not allowed to advertise. They're changing it now to if you do have a wholesaling contract, you're only able to advertise the contract. There's some laws, there's different laws in different places, but they're saying that you could only, and it might not be that you need your real estate license to sell real estate, but you need some sort of like specific wholesaling license, for example. The thing is that if they're going to change the advertising, they're going to basically say that if you have a contract, and you in the Midwest, this is a big thing they're doing, that it has to be obvious that you're selling a contract, that you don't own the property. You have to say specifically, I do not own the property. I have a contract, and you are going to have to step in and sell the contract, and you have to provide the terms of that contract. Meaning, and if you put that in advertising, that's going to be pretty crazy. So it's, again, with the laws, they go overboard. It's going to be a pain in the ass, but you know what? We deserve it because we sat around attorneys saying it's investors' title. Come on, man. Again, I'm saying it with love, but when we let this happen, this is what we deserve. They're going to come in, and you think Congress is going to be sensible? You think the lawmakers? No, it's going to. Imagine if they made you put in every advertising thing exactly how much money you're going to make. This is one of the things they're going to put. People who do double closings, and this is an idea that another way of around this. Well, I'll just do double closings. How are you getting the leads, dickhead? Are you spamming people? And it's not like, and if you're broke and if you're starting from 0, this is not. We don't look down on people from starting from 0. We don't look down on people not having experience. We got to start somewhere. But it's when it is explained to you, hey, you're being a giant shitball and you continue to do the same things. This is spam. It's wrong. Advertising BS prices. Just add your fee to the top. Come on. This is not the way you build a business. We've talked about building relationships, having compliance, building a nobody mountain, all that stuff that sounds like work. If I do that, who's going to watch my porn, right? What is wholesaling? This is what you got to understand. Everything revolves on the buyer-renter. How good is a wholesaler? Here's what I look at. How many buyers and renters are they marketing for? Because if you're not marketing for buyers and renters, you don't really know what a property is worth. So anytime you want to buy a property from a wholesaler or somebody, ask them about that market. Unless you're marketing for buyers or renters, every property, basically, ultimately, you need a buyer or renter. So a seller goes for sale by owner, they find a buyer renter. A seller goes a realtor, then the realtor finds a buyer renter. These are for a pretty house. If you're going to make it up, if you're going to pay to get it fixed up, these are your two options for sale by owner, realtor. Now for off market or an ugly house, a house that you don't want to fix up, a house you just want to cash offer on, you have a few options. You could go and do for sale by owner and find a buyer or renter yourself, but nobody does that. Very few people do that because that buyer or renter could go out and find a pretty house. They're not, buyers and renters normally don't buy ugly houses or fixer-upper houses, although they should, but they normally don't. Seller goes to an investor, the investor makes a cash offer, and then the investor goes and finds the buyer or renter. Notice the common denominator here is the buyer renter. If you're a wholesaler, you should be marketing and finding buyers and renters because that's what gives you leverage and you can communicate better and make better decisions for your investors. Now, the other example is a seller goes to a wholesaler. The wholesaler is between the seller and the investor, meaning you got to take care of the seller and you got to take care of the investor. Make sure that the investor buys it, and when they buy it, they can find a buyer renter of their own. This is why, again, you should be finding the buyer and the renter. These wholesalers are just not doing any of this stuff. They're just going, they're spamming sellers, they're getting a deal, and then they're going and seeing how they can hawk it off to who's going to pay them $5, $10, $15,000, $1,500, whatever. What do you want? What do you want to buy the property at? You know, and when you don't have a business, this is what happens when you don't build your business correctly. And then you are out there spamming people. Sellers are calling the attorney general, lining up. They're pissed off because they're not sellers. They're homeowners, right? They don't even have a house for sale. It's crazy. This is a huge problem. This is why the laws are changing. So let's focus on the solution. Is wholesaling real estate becoming illegal? Yes, it's going to be. The laws are changing. The way it's being structured is changing. And even if it's not, pretend that it is, because the way these people are operating is not the way you want to operate. So how to stay clear of legal issues and how to be a badass and do the right thing. Take care of your people. The best test I have for you is the A-pile test. Ask yourself this. How many, if you send out an email right now or a text right now, which that in itself is a secret, by the way, do you have a text list, an email list of your 77s? You probably don't. None of these wholesalers do. And if they do, go to like Facebook and enter in, Anna did this before she got kicked off. Ha ha. Russian spy working for Mother Russia. That was hilarious. The whole situation, if you know the details, they had her take a picture of her license. Then they said, you needed to get closer because your hair looks different. Facebook, oh, you're awful. And people put that guy in a highlight. That guy just got lucky. He's a turd. To compare him to Steve Jobs, oh, it's blasphemy. Shame on you. Okay, so A-pile test. Basically, if you send out an email, how many people will definitely open that up? How many people are you in the A-pile for? You have the A-pile, the B-pile, and the C-pile. The C-pile is trash. So people used to open mail right over the trash can, right? Now you have to like explain what mail is to people, some people. The A-pile test means that you are in that A-pile. So their phone, their eye tracking scans that looked at email. Imagine this is a question. Imagine you call your spouse up and you say, hey, I want you to read my email. Or you call your kids up, say, hey, log into my email. I'm looking for an email. And they log in, or maybe you're not looking for an email. Maybe you're out of town. You just want to check your email. You need someone else to do it. When they open up your email, what do you tell them to look at? Do you tell them to look at the subject line or the from? You tell them to look at the from line, right? That's the important thing because that's how we all are now. We got so many emails. At first you get an email. You're like, oh my gosh. Oh, it's like, just for me. Oh, the Nigerian prince wants to talk to me. Oh my gosh, you open up that email, right? But now it's different. We look at the from line, and there's some emails, some people in the A-pile, no matter what they say, you're going to open and read that email. That's the question. How many people are you in that A-pile for? The question is, how many people are you in the A-pile for? You had 16 people that open up each one of your emails, making $20,000 a month. 16 people. You don't need that many people. If you're on the right people, if you qualify your people, and you're in the A-pile list. All right, always do what you say and never misrepresent. I said this earlier. The two big reasons why people get in trouble, what they said to the buyer and seller was not true, or they didn't do it, they didn't follow up, and they misrepresent themselves. Don't say you're a cash buyer if you're not a cash buyer, right? Because you say, oh, I can close in 7 days. And then you go and find someone that can close in 7 days. Don't do that stuff, man. Come on, man. Don't be so stupid. Yeah. Only wholesale on the side as relationship builders. Don't make wholesaling your main business. I know people are going to be like, that's not true, Awesome. There's all these people. No, there's not. There's not. It's like an MLM. There's not that many. Who's making money? It's always someone you know. It's never the guy you're talking to, right? There's not that many people, doing a killer job with wholesaling. The best people making the most money, they do wholesaling on the side. And they do it. It's what the way it should be is you're doing deals, you're making things happen, you've built your real estate business on the side as a relationship builder. Let's say one of the lines we use in our emails, we say, by the way, whenever I have a doctor or a high net worth surgeon or somebody who I want to owe me for the rest of their life, I find a deal that I say, look, you're going to spend 70 grand, you're going to make 50 grand on this deal. And I give it to them as a relationship builder because I know that once I give it to a doctor like yourself or a whatever highfalutin, a bigwig guy like you, when I give it to a big shot like you, because of the way you are, you're going to make sure that I get 100 times back, which you're going to owe me for the rest of your life. You're going to make sure that you take care of me. You're going to have only pleasant, wonderful things to say about me. That's the way we use wholesaling now as a relationship builder with people. Use it on the side. Hey, here's a deal. And people will come to you out of the woodwork. Man, I want to get in on this deal. I want to get in on that deal. And then you've got your VIP list built. It's easy to do if you do it right. Build your business first. Get that going and people will be flocking to you. Don't wholesale until after your VIP list. Get your VIP list of investors going so you know that you're going to move a deal. And do GXMs until then. Just do a GXM. Just volunteer. Go through the whole process. I had a whole class on Wholesaling 101. By the way, did I mention this is the #1 YouTube channel for Indiana real estate? We're building the world's largest organization, special needs business owners. wholesalers. Did I already say that? Build your team and project manage to complete the deal. What's the difference between wholesaling and actually doing the deal? It's just team building, right? You just get contract. It's not that hard. So just complete the deal. You make 2, 3, 4, 5 times as much. It's amazing when a wholesaler's like, you're going to make all this money on this deal. Why not just do it yourself? Because you're an LC. Don't be like that. Lean on your legal team for everything so they know and explain. Your legal team, don't worry about what the laws are yourself. Interview your legal team. Go to bigria.com/people. It's another place you can look at. Get your legal team. They're the ones that handle the deals. They answer the questions. They deal with your buyers and sellers. GXM first and stay involved to the very end of the deal. Take a sample deal. Talk to a realtor, a broker, a lender, hard money lender, private money lender, rehab guy, a contractor. Ask them if they're doing a deal and ask how you can help. Just be their gopher. Be their errand boy. If you've never done a deal and you do a GXM, you introduce somebody, follow the deal from the beginning to the end, the whole process. Market for them, help them market, put out signs or ads. All you need to buy is sell a house, is sign ads and buyers list, right? To sell a house. So help them do that stuff and go through the process from the beginning to the end a couple of times. You'll see the whole process come together. You build relationships. You'll have people that owe you because you've helped them for free. And you'll see the whole you'll see exactly what the investors' costs are. You'll see exactly what the contractors' costs are. You see their perspective. You see how the seller was taken care of. You see how the realtor, the title company, how everybody made money. Everybody was better off. You see a process where you don't have to spam people and make up BS prices and try to convince people. Mars Hill is basically a meth lab in Indianapolis, and we see deals all the time. Oh, it's a great neighborhood. No, it's not. The cops don't even go there. It's crazy. The only reason you're doing that is because you don't really think these are real people. You don't believe that the investor is going to lose money or their kids might not get braces or something like that. You're not thinking about that stuff. Once you do a GXM, once you get involved and go from beginning to end of a deal, you see the perspective of everybody. And if you're not making money, you can really just be curious and be really a fly on the wall and really ask questions. And you don't need to worry about being like too weird because what are they going to do? Fire you, right? So get involved. Actually build a relationship. See it from beginning to end. Understand these are real people. A seller is not just a name and number you can spam. It's like a real person with a real problem. And when you can help them out, when you want to work with people who they look at you as a godsend, right? And the first thing is to be someone who's providing value that is of godsend material. You're actually helping change someone's life. What's the difference between you and 100 other investors that bought some course online if all you're doing is spamming people? Guys, just take care of people. Go through my stuff. Have a beautiful conversation. Get addicted to having a beautiful conversation. Build these relationships. Change the world. Use our skill to really build people up. First get that ladder so you get up, and then be that ladder. Help other people see that ladder. These are the things that matter. Being good to people, being kind, being caring. Don't be a dickhead spamming people. Be somebody of value. And then now we're complaining that this is it should be illegal. This is not right what people are doing. Build your business this way. I promise you're going to love life. You're going to have high frequency thinking. Beautiful things are going to happen. You're going to look like me. Yeah!